Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here to bring you a wig review. I'm here to show you Wille Touch in two colors. I have her in Tobacco Rooted. I also have her in Candyblonde Rooted. So if you want to see two versions of this style and hear all the details and my impressions of her, then stick around and we'll talk about it. Alright everyone, so in this video I am going to cover Wille Touch from head to toe, or lace front to nape, or however you want to refer to it. What I'm not going to do is spend a lot of time on the color. I do plan to do a color spotlight of both of these colors so that you can get a really thorough sense of the colors and how they come across in both indoor and outdoor lighting. I'm not going to take up your time in this video with all of that. So if you are here for the color, you'll obviously see it in this review, but I will not be talking about it. We will get into that in the color spotlight, so please look for that to come. And as far as this wig goes, I did purchase, actually I purchased one and I traded for one. So I purchased the Candyblonde Rooted, and then a wig sister asked if I wanted to trade this one for something else, and I was super excited because when I can give you guys a review of a wig that I have multiples of, I find that to be one of the most helpful things so that you can see a style and how it might vary. So that thrills me to no end. So let's get talking about Touch. The first thing I'm going to tell you about Touch is I believe she is one of the most natural, realistic wigs I have ever tried. And that's saying something because I have tried a lot of wigs. Let me show you what this one looks like from all sides. And this one is in the color Tobacco Rooted. So I will actually be putting the other one on in just a minute to show you how they compare. And at the end, I will do, I'll put some side-by-side pictures into the video so that you can see how they look side by side and if you can notice any major differences. Someday I'm going to learn how to do editing where I can do what Taz does, which is so phenomenal, where she actually does the video side by side. That is so helpful. I hope to be able to learn how to do that someday. But for now, you'll get the pictures at the end. So why do I tell you that I think this is one of the most realistic looking wigs? Well, first of all, there is absolutely no permatease on this one. It is just natural, not poofy, not pillowy, and that is really what most people's hair looks like that didn't spend a lot of time using thickening products and doing back combing and round brushing and all of the things that people do to achieve lift with their hair. The second thing is this has a very natural density. This piece is not heavy density at all. I would say this is a low density piece. It has absolutely enough hair that you don't have to worry about seeing the wefting, which, you know, when you get a wig that has very low density, what can happen is when the wind blows and the wig moves, you risk seeing wefting. That's really not a risk at all with this one. Another thing that I think makes it look really natural is the hair fibers. They are very light and wispy. They're the light denier kind of fiber that maybe somebody would say that they have fine hair. That's the kind of hair fiber that Touch has, which is so realistic and natural looking, but a downside to a very wispy hair fiber is that she does tangle quite a lot. Now, the length is at that borderline level where the tangles are manageable. If she was a whole lot longer than this though, I think you'd struggle with some of the tangling. That said, with a synthetic wig, it is the trade-off that you have, and I would just really encourage you to have a wide tooth comb with you when you wear Touch, and just gently comb through the ends periodically throughout the day. I don't think she is going to show the wear terribly early on. I think if you take care of her and you comb through her, you're going to do just fine with this one. But I definitely recommend that. these waves are that perfect bedhead kind of wave. You can comb through it and you don't have to worry about disrupting any kind of a curl pattern, which does help with a wig that tangles. And it is that sort of sexy bedhead look that a lot of people try to achieve. It's the, you know, I didn't try too hard, but I tried kind of hard with my hair. And that is what she has. She just is beautiful and comfortable, and that wave is awesome. Touch has a lace front and a mono part. The lace front is impeccable. Let's take a look at it. And part of it's the color. They took all of that lightness to the front, but I believe if I had a darker piece or a rooted piece where the rooting color was up at the front, I still think this would have a great lace front. I'm very impressed with Ellen Villa lace fronts. I think for the most part, they use very small knotting and they do a very good job of not making it so densely knotted that you see a line, as you can see here. So lace front is awesome. And then it does have a mono part. Personally, I would pluck this part a little bit. I do find it to be just a little bit densely knotted. That would amp up the realistic nature of this piece. It's very easy to do, and I encourage you to go to one of my Tip Tuesdays to see how to pluck a part if you've never done it before. It's definitely something I would consider if you ever struggle with wigs thinking they don't look super realistic. That is going to be a game changer for you, I promise. What else can I tell you before I switch? I would say because of this really natural density, you're going to be able to do a lot of styling with her. I mean, seriously, all you would need is a couple of claw clips and you can clip up some of the pieces of the hair. I'm not going to spend a lot of time clipping, but so that you can get some tendrils coming down in the front, you can do a big bump it in the front. If you want a little more lift, with some clips, and that will change the profile of this piece. She's also one of those kind of wigs that you can put into an updo in the back, and it will be so easy to do because she doesn't have the permatease and the volume, which is really significant. Let me do a quick switcheroo for you, and then I can show you the cap. All right, normally I do the switches on camera because I think it's so helpful for you to see a wig be put on and how quickly you can get it arranged. But when they're longer like this and they tangle a little bit, it can be just not ideal to do on camera because then I have to, you know, arrange and comb. So that's why I chose not to on this video. So let's look at this cap. This is what the cap looks like. So you've got your mono part, which is the left-hand mono part, your typical left-hand mono part that's on most mono part wigs. I know my right part sisters just cringe when they hear that, and that is what this one has. So you've got a lace front, and the lace front is good. It goes from here to here. So it doesn't go all the way down, but it almost goes down to the ear tabs. And so it looks like it goes down to the ear tabs on here, but the ear tabs are very wide. So you get a lot of parting space. So you'll have a lot of styling ability. I think I'm too tall to do that. And then there's that lace front on this one, which is just so, so good. One of the things you can't really see on video, which I want to make sure you're aware of, and you always have to remember these things as you watch all reviews. One thing you can't see well on video is poof at all. So I always try to describe the fullness and how poofy a wig is because it's very difficult to see if you don't have like the 4D kind of all dimensions which you get in person. This one is very, very flat. This one is even feels a little and looks a little flatter than the other one. I just think the waves maybe started a little higher on that one, which gave it a little more poof. This one absolutely is very, very flat and then has the waves. And I'll tell you why I think that's important to know. So I think that's important to know because sometimes if a wig is too flat on the top, it's not ideal for some people. I personally would prefer a little more lift on the top because it balances my long and round face. And I'm not going to get any lift from this one because it doesn't have the permatease. So if you really like that flat look, you don't want any poof, this one is going to give that to you. But if you need a little bit of lift, Touch does not have it, and I want to caution you that you're going to have to get that from styling, which is what I do when I get a wig that's not ideal for me and I don't have enough lift. Those are my wigs that I almost always wear in clips, and I style, and I love these waves for that kind of styling. So it's really simple to just arrange the hair fibers so that you can add a little bit of lift, whether it's in the middle or on the sides, and then that way you can get some of that lift you're looking for. So that's my 2 cents on that. How does Touch fit me? So I would say that Touch is a typical Ellen Villa wig that runs just slightly under true to average. It's not average petite by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also not really big head friendly. So what I encourage you to do is look in the description of this video and look at my measurements, and then consider these things. I have a 22-inch circumference, and I think if you go up to a 22 1/4, you're going to have absolutely zero problems with the circumference. This has some stretch. I do not have this one out all the way, so I think even 22 1/2, if you're used to wigs being a little snug around your circumference, I think you're going to be okay. Where it becomes a little trickier is the over-the-top measurements. So those are so important when it comes to coverage. And I get actually really decent coverage because the ear tabs come to here. My ear, the top of my earlobe is here. I prefer for the best coverage for it to be just a little lower. So to the front and below my earlobe, that gives me the best coverage, but this one gives me satisfactory coverage. There is quite a bit of hair sewn into that ear tab, which helps a ton. And if you don't ever plan to do any styling, if you always want to wear the hair like this, then the coverage issues become a little bit less of a concern. I don't have any extra cap over the top of my head at all. So if you're anything more than 1/4 inch bigger, this measurement and this measurement, I want to caution you that it's going to fit you a lot smaller, and it may fit you too small. So please look at those measurements and try to judge based on that. It fits me very similar to Girl Mono, so if you can wear Girl Mono, I think you can wear this one just fine. Really, really a cute style. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. I think that, you know, this is going to be great for updos. Like I said, the styling is going to be so good with this one because you don't have the permatease to deal with. So a ponytail, a claw clip in the back, you're going to have tons of styling options with this one. I do have a whole Tip Tuesday series where I cover things like plucking the part, cutting the lace. I just recently did one where I show you how to put a longer wig into an updo and then take a razor comb and trim up just a little bit of the little tendrils that you have that hang down to hide where the cap and the head meet. I encourage you to go look at that, and you can apply that technique to any wig that you can put into a claw clip. So for me to do styling on camera is so difficult because I have some pretty icky arthritis that gives me mobility issues. I am trying to just make sure I get the resources out on my channel so I can send them to you instead of having to do styling in every video, which is a challenge for me. I want to talk about the styling and maybe send you elsewhere. I hope you don't mind that. I know styling can be sort of that really difficult thing for new wig wearers. But my final assessment of Touch is she is super comfortable, great for realism, does have some tangling, so you'll want to be aware of that. I think she's going to be a really good one just for everyday natural look. I would say because the fibers are lighter and they do tangle quite a bit, I'm not sure I highly recommend her for an everyday 10-hour-a-day wig. I think you're going to be battling the tangles at the nape a lot if you do that. But if you're willing to do some styling and wear her up every now and then, I think that will help. The other thing I'll mention, because these are drier fibers and they're lighter, they do have a lot of flyaways. That contributes to how realistic, see these flyaways? Part of it is how much I'm playing with her, but part of it is just the type of fiber. That is so realistic. I know sometimes people complain about flyaways and they think that's a dead giveaway for a wig, but I really encourage you to go out into the world and observe people's hair and see how many people have flyaways to know that it actually does add to the realistic look, and you can always tackle that with some wig hairspray or some styling cream to tamp it down, but I definitely think it gives it a more realistic look, especially because of its waviness. The other thing one last thing is the waves do vary. You know, I really love the waves on this one. I find the waves on this one to be a little bit more more bedhead, like maybe I woke up and had some crimped hair and I just didn't do too much to it. So that's the other thing that you will find with wigs is curl patterns, wave patterns, all of those things do vary from piece to piece. So that's why it's so good to see multiple pieces. All right, everybody, so that's Touch. I like her. I recommend her. I think that for my wig sisters who want low density and like, you know, a little bit below shoulder length, she's definitely worth looking at. If you have Touch, please leave in the comments your experience with her. I think if we're, you know, as we build this community, the more my wig sisters can help each other in the comments, the more you'll get, you know, double the benefit of watching my videos, because you'll not only learn from me, but you'll learn from each other. And you might have some tips to share about Touch that I'm not aware of, so please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments. All right, everyone, I will talk to you soon. Stay tuned in the future, very near future, for the color spotlights if you came here for the color. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you. I hope you're getting what you need from me. I'll talk to you soon.